up. I can't seem to do anything with it.
Herbie, that superstar car, is back and unpredictable as ever.
Look out!
For the joyride of your life, he's the little bug full of high-speed hijinks with a mind of his own.
Yes!
The Love Bug from Walt Disney. Herbie takes gas from nobody.
Hey passengers, it's Ken the voiceover guy from the Grand Circle Tour podcast. I'm here to let you know that this episode is brought to you by Dream Creators Travel. Our good friends Jennifer G. and Jaleesa are two of the most knowledgeable people I know when it comes to booking trips to Walt Disney World. Follow them for more Disney tips and tricks on their Facebook group called Busy Moms Planning Disney. Our listeners will not only receive the best booking incentives available, but they will also qualify for a very special promotion. If you book a Disney or Universal package, including room and tickets for 3 nights or more, they will give you a free $25 Disney gift card. Be sure to let them know that your favorite tour guides at the Grand Circle Tour podcast sent you to ensure you receive your gift. Visit the Dream Creators Travel website today at dreamcreatorstravel.com and remember their slogan, if you can dream it, we can create it.
Hey gang, welcome to another exciting adventure of the Grand Circle Tour podcast. I am Captain Stan Solo, and joining me today are my three, there's 4 of us, but 3 altogether, 3 favorite co-hosts. You know what? We got a great topic today. He was a 60s love bug. He rode again. He went to Monte Carlo. Then he went bananas. Then he was fully loaded. We're going to be talking about Herbie today. But before we do that, let's find out who we're talking with. Joining me, ladies first, Wood Crawford. How are you and Waltz Up?
I'm doing really well. I'm a little bit thrown off because we're recording differently and I feel like we're doing a live show, but I don't know. So this is really weird. But so my Waltz Up has to do with Disney signs all over the place. So I keep saying I have no more wall space. I have to stop buying signs. And then I get a message from Mary Wells saying, Derek's shop is opening in 1 minute. So what do? I panic and I go right on his shop and I buy 6 signs? Like I bought what he called the whole enchilada, which is every single snack that he does. So I got the bar, the sandwich, a donut, a waffle. What else? Maybe that's it. So no, there's something else in there too. But I'm like, damn you, Mary.
Sign everywhere, a sign.
Yeah. And then
and there's the episode intro. Thank you, Holly.
Perfect.
And then yesterday, my husband says, here, look at this. And apparently like a month and a half ago or something, he messaged Jeremy and said, Holly's birthday is coming up. She's really, really wants a Matterhorn sign. Do you think you can create one for her birthday? No problem. Well, he got busy, as Jeremy does, because, just like us, we're all over the place. So he finally got it done yesterday and texted a picture and says, how does this work? And I'm like, why did you show me? I would have rather opened it up and been like, wow. But anyways, it looks beautiful. I cannot wait to see it. But once again, here we go. But super excited because they're all just amazing. So can't wait for all of those.
That is great.
Mm-hmm.
Skipper J, how are you doing and Waltz Up?
Aloha, I am fantastic, everyone. So when you said by your intro, you said a 60s icon, he's gone bananas, he's got a Monte Carlo, he's got loaded. I was like, enough about me. You're going to make me blush. So Walt's up with me this week. Before we started, I asked you guys, I couldn't decide Boba Fett or Iron Man. Holly said, always go with Iron Man. And my Walt's up is... So you're going to hear me just go on and on about how I'm going to Disneyland Paris next year. It looks like the Iron Man roller coaster will be open by the time I get there.
Oh, nice.
I couldn't be any more excited to see this superior Avengers Campus across the pond.
One's not built and the other one hasn't visited, but it's already superior.
It's already superior. No tower of trash. It's already superior.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
How about you, Mission Commander? Justin, what's up, and how are you doing?
I am doing fantastic. And, what's up with me is that I sat down and we watched Luca last night on Disney Plus. I really enjoyed that. We should almost do a review of it or something, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a nice, sweet film, and I recommend it.
I really liked it a lot too.
I can't wait to watch it.
Awesome.
I haven't got to watch it yet, but I can't wait.
I think I liked it more than Onward.
Oh, Onward, really?
Yeah. What was the other one that came out recently?
Raya.
Yeah, I liked it more than Raya.
I was going to say, Stan, nothing's better than Cruella. Don't go there.
I haven't seen Cruella yet.
Okay.
I'm too cheap to see Cruella.
I don't think that's on the same.
I don't feel like it doesn't pull at your heartstrings quite as much as Onward was trying to do, and I think Raya was like visually stunning, but I didn't get into the story as much. This one is like, it's a nice combination of all of that. It's some beautiful scenery. It's a good story.
I found with Onward, it got too much over the top towards the end. And it really leaned
into its fantasy setting in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, there is the fantasy element, but it doesn't quite go as overboard with that. I would agree with you there.
Yeah. How are you doing, Stan? And Walt's up. Oh, thanks for asking, Stan. I am amazing, but you already knew that. Good news from the Canadian border crossing type thing. Fully vaccinated Canadians can now go into the U.S. starting July 5th. So in 4 weeks, I'll be fully vaccinated. You have to wait 4 weeks after vaccination. Not that I can go. I can't afford it.
Even. I thought you'd said the 21st before.
It was originally the 21st. That was the earliest was going to open, and now it's July 5th. But you have to wait 4 weeks after your second shot.
Okay.
But you still have to have a negative test before you leave, and you have to have a negative test before you come back. So if you go into the States, you got to find a testing facility as a Canadian. I'm not sure how that works.
How strict are they on that? Does it have to be like specific things, like specific?
Yeah, COVID. You can't have COVID. Is that what you meant?
So you can't just get a math test and go, yeah. I totally had a negative result.
I tested negative on my SATs.
Stan, if you come across the border and can't get back, you can always stay with me.
Excellent. Perfect. I'll do that.
The Canadian border type thingy. Isn't that what you said?
So I gave you guys some homework, and for those of you that watched the live show, I also gave you some homework as well. To watch Herbie the Love Bug, the original 1969 movie. Did you guys all watch it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I did.
Yeah,
and I watched the Love Bug Day Parade at Disneyland, and I watched the making of... Dude, I've gone Love Bug crazy the last 36 hours.
Oh, right on.
I wasn't scheduled to be here originally.
Don't they guess? I fell asleep twice. Did you watch it?
I did not fall asleep.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Was this your first time watching it, Holly?
No, I have watched it, but I could not tell you when or any memories of it. But I have watched it when I was younger. I know who Herbie is, but that was the first time that I can remember actually watching the entire thing.
Holly, I love you, but I already had a Monte Cristo demerit ready for you. To say I didn't know who this was or I'd never seen it.
How about you, Justin? When was the first time? Do you remember the first time you saw The Love Bug?
Oh, I don't know that I could tell you the first time I saw it because I was very young. I know I saw it as a young child numerous times. I think on TV. I think probably at the drive-in in Williston, and probably on VHS later on. Yeah.
How about you, Jay?
Oh, I love this movie. This is one of my all-time favorites. I wasn't supposed to be here tonight, and I worked my way into it because we're finally doing this.
He's actually going to send me a thing of exhibition roasters just to come on this show. He said, "I'll send you a bag of Expedition Roasters.
I will send you an action figure."
I know. I just told Stan like a half an hour ago. I said, I see you already have Jay and Justin on. I don't think I should be joining. I don't even know what I'm going to even talk about. But he's like, no, it will be fun to make fun of you, I think is what he said. No.
It's always fun to make fun of you. Look, guys, I was so excited for this episode. I started to do the early work on it. And before I'd known it, I had already done all the audio work for this episode. It's just waiting for the episode. So, passengers, the work on this was done days before you heard it. That's how excited I was to do a Herbie show.
Funny.
No. For me, the takeaway here is that if I come up with the right topic, Jay will bribe me. Noted.
Mm-hmm. And passengers, I can always be bribed. DM me for price list.
So I remember watching this for the first time on The Wonderful World of Color back in the day. Now, the thing I don't understand about The Wonderful World of Color was an hour-long show plus commercials, and they would show movies that were 2 hours long. And I can't remember, did they show half of it one week and the other half was it continued the second week? I can't remember that part.
It was
I don't remember
way down. Yeah.
Way down. That would be crazy.
But and also Uncle Walt would introduce the movie, like that took some time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think they did it in 2 weeks, is what I think they did.
How do you remember that?
I did see Herbie Goes Bananas in the theater when it first came out. That was the first Herbie movie I saw in the theater.
Wow.
And I remember it was a Sunday, and I went with she was my very first friend, and she lived on the same street as me. We went together on a Sunday matinee to the to see Herbie Goes Bananas.
Cute.
Yeah.
Aww.
And I remember her mom would say to me, "I remember when you were little, you would come and see Kincoa wine, come and play." So, anyways, the movie starts off, and every time I watch it, I always forget about that Smash Up Derby scene at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Do you?
Yeah. For some reason, it escapes my memory every time I watch it, and I go, "Oh yeah, there's Smash Up Derby at the beginning."
After a lifetime of racing, I watched that scene and I break down. I know exactly where this is in the desert.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Where's it at?
I'm not telling you.
In the desert.
Because we were watching, I'm like, I swear this is right by my house.
It is. It's out.
looks
It's out San Bernardino.
Okay, so I'm like, this
Yeah.
is like.
Because I
right
watched
on my
that
house.
whole opening and I'm like, I know exactly where this is. Like sand dune by sand dune.
Well, we're watching the demolition derby scene, and my husband's like, what the heck is this? I've never heard of one of these. I'm like, there's one at the local fair literally every single October. Like, you've never been to this before? Never heard of this? So funny.
I've never ever watched one in person. I think I need to go see a real demolition derby someday.
Yeah, it's pretty silly.
Yeah. Especially when you start getting school buses involved and stuff. Just keep the off it though. I don't want to see Volkswagen Beetle playing demolition derby. So it stars Dean Jones, who played Jim Douglas, who ends up owning Herbie. What movies? He's a bit of a Disney. He's been in a lot of Disney movies. Which ones was he in?
Oh man, I know he was in Snowball Express. That's one of my favorite. That's another one of my favorite Disney movies. Let's see here.
Monkeys Go Home. $1 Million Doug. I did not look up a list real quick.
That darn cat, Ugly Dachshund, Blackbeard's
Oh yeah,
Goat.
that darn cat. Yeah. So he's been in a number of Disney movies. I just remember him being on The Wonderful World of Color all the time. Michelle Lee played Carol Bennett, and I love that opening, her introduction in the window with the sign.
That's good.
That was the highlight for me as an adult. As a kid, I didn't really notice it so much.
So the takeaway is Stan his legs.
Yeah.
Yeah. David Tomlinson played Peter Thorndike, and he's been in a number of Disney movies as well back in the 60s, 70s.
Yeah, of
looks
course,
like
Mary
a
Poppins
Disney
is
character.
probably one of his most famous ones. He was also in Bedknobs and Broomsticks.
Mm-hmm.
And did anybody else notice in this film, real quick, that they didn't blacken his hair like in Mary Poppins, like letting him show his natural hair color aged him up?
Yeah. And of course, the legendary Buddy Hackett played a Tennessee. Talk about it, the guy that stole the show.
Hello there, kids. Gather close around the phonograph. I'm going to tell you a story. Maybe I should introduce myself. My name is Tennessee. Now, you may think that's a pretty funny name for a person to have. I'm very proud of it. Besides me, some very important people were born in Tennessee. For instance, Davy Crockett. You remember. Born on a mountaintop in Tennessee. Greenest state in the land of the free. Raised in the woods, so he knew every tree. Killed him a bar when he was only 3.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Playing this kind of like, I don't know, sort of a new agey hippie kind of guy in a sense, but also
You know, he makes me want to start every conversation. So I went to Chinese and I went up to a hill and worked with these swamis and
Taipei.
but like every conversation.
Yeah. So the original Love Bug movie spawned, what was it, 5 or 6 movies plus a TV series? I didn't know about the TV series at all until we started doing this research.
well, me either. I'm like,
Yeah.
how did I miss that? I mean, the fact that it's only 5 episodes long is probably part of the reason I missed it, but it was like right in the middle of the time I would have been watching everything on TV.
So
Yeah.
Jake, did you hurry and watch all those?
I have already owned them.
Okay.
I've seen them a multitude of times. Had they done episode 6, Mr. Wu would have come back from the movie. I told you guys I love Herbie.
I've never heard of that series. It came out in 1982.
Yeah.
So, and it was exclusive to, what was the Disney Channel back then?
It was on CBS.
Was it on CBS?
Yeah.
It was on CBS in 1982, yes.
Okay, so I would have been still in a small town if we didn't get CBS. We got CBC and
gosh.
CBC French. Those are the 2 channels I grew up on.
Don't worry, they call it CBS because that's all you see.
But not only do you CBS, you can also hear it too.
Is that a joke about this show?
I was kind of amazed that this TV series on CBS, I mean, they even had Dean Jones reprising
Yeah.
his role as Jim Douglas.
And part of the plot of this is Carolyn had left him and he's starting a new relationship and the series ends with him getting married.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I totally have to hunt this down and watch it now.
I am not going to send you a copy. Wink, wink.
Yeah. Well, it was only ever released on VHS from what I understand. It was never released on DVD. So is this a case of there's music rights or something like that? Is that the problem? Is that the holdup?
It's just one of those things no one cares about, honestly. It's like, passengers, you're hearing the soundtrack for the movie. I'm not saying why you're hearing it, but you're hearing it. No, it's never released.
They
CJ's
no, they
face.
need to release those. Disney Plus has to release those. I want to
Yeah.
see those so bad now.
Yeah, Disney Plus would be a perfect
Yeah.
place to release this very
Oh,
short-lived
yeah.
5-season.
Actually, I
episode
want a whole
series.
Herbie series on Disney Plus now.
Well, I want to save that for the end. That would be our final question. 1997, a Love Bug made-for-TV movie starring Bruce Campbell
Mm-hmm.
was released. I didn't know about that either until I started doing the research for this.
You know, I think I was aware of that one, but I never watched it. It passed me by, and I didn't get a chance to see it. And I was reminded of it again, and I'm like, again, like the TV series. I'm looking at this, going, how have I never watched this? I love Bruce Campbell. I love to watch any of his movies, and I love the Love Bug. So, natural fit.
So where can you find that though right now to watch it? YouTube?
That's a very good question.
So the weird thing with the 1997 movie with Bruce Campbell was the introduction of Horace the Hate Bug.
What?
Yeah. There's the Hate Bug that gets introduced, and this bug's evil. He has all sorts of tricks and things that he wants to kill Herbie.
He's the original BB9E.
Why?
Because he's
Because he's the hate bug.
He's the Hate Bug. And
Because it was 1997.
That's horrible.
It's the polar opposite of the Love Bug, I guess.
yeah, and he was all black, and like to drive that thing with those tiny windows, it must have been impossible. It just had
I'm
like
gonna
little
have to look
oval
this one
windows.
up.
Yes, do a Google search on Horace the Hate Bug, and and who came up with the name Horace?
Right?
No, Horace and
It's just-
Herbie.
An old timey name. It's Horace the Hate Bug.
Yeah. So some of the trivia was, you guys hear how they got the number 53?
Yes,
I
but I didn't write it
remember quite
down. Shoot, so I don't remember.
So no one really knows for sure, but the story that most people are going with is that the producer of The Love Bug was a big Dodgers fan. And Dan Drysdale was number 53, a pitcher for the LA Dodgers. And he just took it from that.
Makes as much sense as anything else.
Right?
Yeah. Now, Buddy Hackett said in an interview one time that 53 was picked because the speed limit is 55, which makes even less sense.
Right?
But it sounds exactly like the sort of thing Buddy Hackett would say.
Mhm.
After
Yeah.
a couple Irish coffees.
Yeah. And what part of Ireland did you say your mom's from?
Stanton.
Coney Island.
Cody. Thank God I can cut myself out.
What was another interesting fact was the engine they put in for the racing scenes was a Porsche engine into the 63 Volkswagen Beetle. So it had, in third gear, it would go 90 miles an hour, and the top speed was 115 miles an hour.
Wow. I thought they
Yeah,
just pushed like
And I
fast
find
forward.
myself amazed. I find myself amazed that the car could even hold itself together. At that
It
time.
doesn't.
Oh, exactly. So I spent the last week after watching these movies and everything looking at old Beetles trying to find one. And I found a couple around the country that I'm really tempted to buy. And I found one right near Mindy's house. And I figured, well, I could fly out to Mindy's, visit Mindy for a bit, go pick up this, it was a 1967 Volkswagen Beetle, a white one, and then drive it back to Canada. And no air conditioning, standard transmission, 1967. I'm not sure that's a good idea to be driving through the Arizona desert for your very first time.
You know, Stan?
The timing belt goes, or the
I guarantee you're going to need air conditioning in Arizona.
Yeah, anytime.
You know what?
well, not only
Come pick me up, and
A
we'll
reliable-
and we'll do the start of the Muppet movie. We'll be Fozzie and Kermit.
well, a reliable car would be a good idea too. Driving through Arizona desert, I would think. Like, I don't know, I guess you're supposed to use a flatbed trailer and bring it back or something. But anyways, what other? You guys get any fun facts?
I made a bunch of notes for this movie, like the fact that they filled up for it was $2 for 5 gallons, and I wanted to pull my hair out.
Yeah.
I did notice that when I was watching it, going, that's been a long time since we've had those kind of prices
yeah.
on gasoline.
This is 1969. At one point, David Thomason's on his car phone. I'm like, how much is that tripping people out right now in the theaters?
And I liked how he had to call the operator first to make a
Yeah.
call on his car phone.
So one thing I noticed was, and I don't remember what scene this was, I just wrote it down, but on Main Street at Disneyland, there's a little secret cove where, I don't know, one of the little spots, and they have an old mailbox. And they have the exact same mailbox in the movie as they did on Main Street. Like a weird little teeny tiny like brass mailbox. And maybe that was the common mailbox in the 60s, but that really stuck out to me.
That is cool.
So you noticed that? Where in the movie?
I don't know, because it was towards the beginning because I have my notes.
Yeah.
So it's one of my third notes.
Picture with the mailbox on Main Street and the picture from the movie and put it side by side on the
I have it because remember I just did all the mailbox pictures.
right.
So, and that particular mailbox was big like a year ago or maybe 2 years ago on Instagram, where they were calling it the secret mailbox, and people would write notes. They would have a notepad in there, and you would go there and say like Holly was here on this date, and then the next person. So that was kind of a big thing a couple years ago at that mailbox.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah.
That is awesome. How about you, Justin?
No, I just really I enjoyed a lot of the things in this movie, and if you saw the Lights Motor action, you remember Herbie was in that in the parks, and I remember in the movie he splits apart, and I remember that in that show he kind of splits apart, but.
Did you guys know that was the basis for a ride that never got built? They were going to do a Love Bug ride, and you were going to go to San Francisco racing other Love Bugs, and towards the end, the attraction vehicle was going to split in two, and you would cross over the finish line with the party you were riding with side by side.
Cool.
And it never got made, but it would have been the greatest attraction.
Yeah, that would have been so cool.
That would have been really cool. Herbie's involvement in the parks goes back to 1969 in Disneyland when they had the Herbie Day.
Yeah.
And go ahead, Jason.
Oh no, I watched that whole parade today. Passengers, you need to look up Love Bug Parade 1969. It is as wild and as psychedelic as it gets. It is hilarious. I mean, you've got. It's not like today. People are using whatever they can make with, but there's all these VWs in the old Disneyland parking lot, and they're stuffing them with tissue, and they're making them right there in the parking lot.
Wow.
Yeah. So Disney put out it was a contest, and you could actually win a Herbie from the movie. Was the prize? They made 10 of them for the movie, and the idea was you come from all over the U.S., you come to Disneyland, and dress up your Volkswagen Beetle, and hundreds and hundreds of people came to do this, and they had them all ride down Main Street up to Small World in Disneyland. It was Herbie Day, and somebody actually won, and Dean Jones was there to hand the key over to the winner of one of the best Herbie. I don't know how they picked the winner, because some of them were done really well. Like, they were some really cool.
That's so cool.
It was a yellow bug that was flirting with Herbie that he wouldn't flirt back, and they wrote that on the side.
Yes. And then opening day at Walt Disney World, they did a Herbie thing with Buddy Hackett, and they had in the Speedway, they had a couple of I guess they were race car racers from the day, from 1971 when Disney World opened, and they had a race on the Speedway. And of course, there was four drivers, but only 3 cars on the Speedway. So Buddy ran and got Herbie, or better yet, whistled, and Herbie came to him. And he hopped into the car
fun.
and raced around the Speedway. How fun would that be to race around the Speedway with Herbie?
Right?
As long as there's no other cars on the track, it'd be great.
Well, that's the only way I could win the race.
Yeah. Then 1973, Herbie became a regular in the Disneyland parade, going down Main Street. Mm-hmm. And he did a little scene with, it was like a policeman or something. He ended up eating him. He would open of course, the engine's in the back, so he'd open up the hood of the trunk, and the policeman would stand there and try to stop him. And of course, Herbie would open up the trunk and bump into him. He'd fall in and he'd swallow him, and then he'd come out the passenger door, get back on his little motorcycle and carry away. Such fun things back in the day in Disneyland, Disney World.
Really quick, did anybody else laugh like an idiot at that part in the movie when Herbie ate David Tomlinson?
Yes.
And they opened the glove box, and there's this guy just laughing like a child.
Well, then the way they carry him out, and he's just all hunched over like a.
He does Bobo the chimp, yeah.
As an actor, he's got to be such a good sport to do things like that for these movies.
He seemed like he was having the best time making his film.
Oh yeah, he chewed every piece of the scenery he could put his teeth on, and I loved it.
And speaking of the scenery, the matte paintings were just gorgeous in this movie. The San Francisco Bay Area, those were all matte paintings. Those weren't filmed. Those were filmed on the back lot, and they just added a bit of fog to create an effect.
What was cool was there was like a continuity shot kind of for me for just the whole time period. There was one matte painting where he's running through San Francisco looking for Herbie, and it looked like it could have been taken from Mary Poppins 5 years earlier.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I know what scene you're talking about, and I agree. I agree with you.
Yeah. So, continuing with the parks, in 2002, Lights Motor Action opened in Disneyland Paris and had Herbie do the same type of thing he did in California, or sorry, in Florida, and we would split in two. And then, of course, in 2005, he opened up in Hollywood Studios in Florida. Stayed there until Buzz McQueen kicked him out. Did you guys see the Herbie in Hollywood Studios?
I did. I distinctly remember that. I love that. I love that aspect of it. Something about that scene where he splits apart during the race is something that I just always stuck with me as a kid, and so I love to see that sort of thing again.
I would like to see that.
I saw Herbie at MGM while he was parked by the Golden Girls house and would squirt water at you as you drove by on the tram.
Oh, that's so fun.
And blink his lights, and yeah.
Oh man, that'd be so cool. I got to see him at Hollywood Studios, and I had no idea he was going to be there. And I've always been a Herbie fan ever since I saw Herbie Goes Bananas in the theater. And I was so excited to see him in the Lights Motor Action Speedway thing. And then a couple years later, I went back and it was Lightning McQueen. And I'm like, what the heck? What happened to Herbie?
Herbie is a better fit for that whole show, I think, than Lightning McQueen anyway. I mean, I understand why they would add him instead, but being newer and kids would recognize him more. But no, I prefer Herbie.
Yeah, it didn't make sense having Lightning there to me.
There was a post that I saw, and I think it was from October of last year, and somebody saw Herbie on a flatbed truck in LA. Did you guys see this post? And they posted on Twitter and said, I've lived in LA for 20 years, and today I had the best celebrity sighting I've ever seen. I passed Herbie on a flatbed going down the LA freeway.
It's a good thing I didn't see that, because that would be the day I commit Grand Theft Auto.
Right?
Did you? When we were doing research for the show, do you guys see any of the Herbie days at Walt Disney World when they had like 10 to 15 Herbies driving around Walt Disney World?
Yeah.
That's what I want to do that. That would be so fun. Then also the backlot tour. At one point, there's 3 different Herbies on display when you did the backlot tram at Hollywood Studios. Though I remember seeing only one, and it was kind of a beat up Herbie. It wasn't a minty Herbie like they had at one point. You remember that, Justin?
On the backlot tour? I do not.
No?
Yeah, when did they stop that? I'm trying to...
When they started building Galaxy's Edge and Toy Story Land. Yeah.
Okay.
That's where it is now. Or they stopped the backlot tour before that, I think, even.
Yeah, it's been such a long time since I've been able to see the backlot tour. I don't remember much of what I even saw there.
I love that.
Yeah,
much.
I think it was like 2007 or something. That was my first time there, and they still had the tour then. 2006, 2007.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't even remember that park, which we know that.
I couldn't
tell you what happened on that. Yeah.
Holly was asleep through that entire park when she went the first time.
I think so.
And of course, All Star Movies has an entire wing dedicated to Herbie the Love Bug. Which
Thank goodness there's something still,
Yeah.
Am I the only one who, when they go there and they throw themselves down in front of Herbie like they're getting run over, goes, quick, take a picture?
I would do that. I've never been to All-Star Movies.
You don't have to stay there. You just have to run in, throw yourself in front of Herbie, and be like, take a picture. Ah!
Well, that is one of my goals now, is to go there to get some pictures taken with Herbie. Because I've never ever been.
He's behind some ropes, but if you can lay on the ground and pretend to get run over.
Yeah.
From many different angles. Great Christmas card.
When I first started doing research on Walt Disney World for my first trip, the All-Star Movies Resort was like, oh my gosh, this is like the best thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, I have got to stay here. This is my priority. This is better than the Ohana. This is better than the Californian. This is like where I want to stay. Then I did a bit more research. And went, oh, okay, maybe I don't want to stay there.
I don't like noise.
Yeah. So we ended up staying at Port Orleans Riverside, and I never did make it down to All-Star Movies. I really want to go explore it one day, though.
If I don't see a picture of you laying in front of Herbie going, ah!
Oh, I'll do it. I'll do it for sure. Yeah, absolutely. And that's an actual Herbie from one of the movies, I believe, that's on display there.
That's good.
Well, that would explain why it's behind ropes then.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was one other Herbie at Walt Disney World. Do you guys know where it was?
Silence.
No. I was lucky enough to see this before they moved it. And this was an actual Herbie that was used in Herbie Goes Bananas. And it was hanging in Planet Hollywood from the ceiling.
What?
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, now that you say it, I remember it, yeah.
Yeah. So my daughter and I, our second trip, we went to Planet Hollywood to have dinner. And I walked in, oh my God, there's a Herbie hanging from the ceiling. Like, I want to buy that so bad.
Is that for sale?
Yeah, exactly. I'll take one of those. So when they shut down Planet Hollywood, the only thing, and they remodeled it and redesigned it, the only thing I could think about was what's happening to that Herbie? That's the only thing I could care less.
Where's my bolt cutters and my ladder?
Yeah. And the whole time during dinner, I was trying to figure out, is that a real car or just a shell? Like, they must have taken the engine out of it. Like, I'm imagining. Like, yeah.
Well, I would sure hope so.
But even just a shell, I would put just a shell in my living room and be like, this is all that's in there.
Yeah. Well, I would get a Porsche engine put into it. Go 115 miles an hour.
What about drive to work?
What about the future of Herbie? Do you think we'll see more Herbie in the park?
I would hope so. I'm not sure that I have a lot of hope.
What you guys are asking to do and put everything on Disney Plus, then yes, it could have a comeback, definitely. To have a new set of eyes, a new generation looking at these movies, especially because they are kid friendly. There's not a lot out there that is, obviously Disney Plus, but even still, like, it's good, fun humor.
Mm-hmm. How about you, Justin?
Yeah, well, I was saying, I would love to see Herbie in the parks more. I don't know that I have a lot of hope for that, just because, this is from 1969, and yeah. if they started making newer things with Herbie in them, then maybe it would start showing up in the parks again. But I just feel like Disney is going to focus more on the current things than the older things in general.
Yeah, we'll probably see a Luca thing before we will a Herbie thing. How about Skipper Jay?
I'm with Justin. I'm not going to get my hopes up. Even if they do a Disney Plus show like I want, it would have to be a huge hit for something. It's I love Herbie, but I think it's a past thing.
So that brings me to my next question. Do you think there'll be a Disney Plus series? I could see them bringing back the 1982 one. I could see them bringing back the made-for-TV movie. They make a new series on Disney Plus. When we go to D23 Expo next year, are they going to announce and have Herbie come on the stage and say, we're doing a new Herbie series? And will it be animated or will it be live action?
Well, here's my thought on that. And that is just that we're rebooting everything nostalgic these days. Mm-hmm. So why not?
I say just make the Herbie ride that never did, and we're good. We'll call it a day.
How about you, Holly? Could you see a Herbie series?
Yeah, like you guys are saying, they are rebooting everything. So why not?
It has to be live action.
A seller. It was a seller.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was the highest grossing film of that year.
See, I heard it. I did a ton of research, and all I could find is it was second, behind Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
I'm gonna stick to Whether it's true or not, I'm going to say it's number one.
Okay. A lot of
It's
good
number
movies.
one in terms of movies that Skipper J wants to watch from that year.
Yes. And there was a lot.
And it was the highest grossing Disney movie since Snow White,
Yeah.
Now that I would believe.
which is quite surprising because they came out with a lot of good movies between Snow White time and 1969.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Wow.
I could see them coming out with a series, but the only problem I see is they no longer make Volkswagens. So they may make Volkswagen, they no longer make Beetles. They no longer make Beetles.
CGI. You can make Herbie CGI, probably.
Yeah.
Well, no, they could
that's
get old
easy.
Beetles, but would Volkswagen want them to say make a Herbie movie? We're not making Beetles anymore. We don't really want you to make a Herbie movie.
That could be the whole comeback. They could bring all of it back. Create a new car. It could be a whole
Well,
thing.
you know what? If they create a new car, it's just not the same. I mean, it's like with the old Knight Rider series that tried to come back with a different car. It just doesn't work. You expect the car to look a certain way, and if it doesn't, it's not the same car.
Those OVWs were awesome. I found out the hard way that you can only float them down a river. They make great battery rams to other cars and don't do a lot of damage, if any.
I don't know. I want to get an old Beetle so bad, but I know it's a bad idea. I know it's a bad idea.
No, it's not. No.
I'm not too mechanically inclined, so. Yeah, I hope they make a series. The interesting thing was when they made the first Love Bug, they didn't get permission from Volkswagen. In fact, Volkswagen requested they don't show their logo at all.
Really?
Yeah. So when you watch the Love Bug, the Volkswagen logo is actually taped off on the hood, and the hubcaps are just plain silver. They don't have the Volkswagen logo on the hubcaps, and it became such a hit. And of course Volkswagen, they're like, well, they're going to be making fun of our little car. Is it going to become a joke of this movie? We're not sure about this.
Advertising is advertising. They should have just taken it.
Exactly. Well, they changed their tune right after it was.
Well, yeah. So when Herbie Rides Again comes out, there's a big logo on the hood. Yeah, how many do you want? 5? Sure. Here's 5 more. You know,
Exactly.
we'll give you as
We're
many
just
63
printing Herbies like money.
Yeah, yeah. And at one point, Volkswagen actually had it on offer where for an extra couple $100, you can get the Herbie decals included in your new car.
I know someone that has Herbie decos on their car.
But I didn't get them from Volkswagen.
No, but I know someone who's got a really cool Herbie looking car.
Right?
It's a cool looking Herbie car. It turns a lot of heads. It's fun to drive. It really is.
Passengers, if you don't know, Stan has a PT that he converted to Herbie, and it's awesome. And if I ever become an Uber driver in Orlando or Lyft, I'm doing that. I'm stealing Stan's idea.
It's smart.
Someone actually stole my idea. That lives a couple of blocks from me, and I was sitting in my living room and I see this 53 go by, and I'm like, "What the heck was took my car?"
Stan, it's Horace the Hate Bug in disguise.
Yeah. But it was still white though. It was still white. It wasn't a black one. What number was Horace? I don't think Horace even had a number. Was he 14 or something? I don't know.
He's
Or 32?
masquerading as Herbie. Be careful.
Was he 25? I don't know what number he was.
25 and a half.
Yeah.
21 and a
I
half.
can tell it's just black. It's all black.
Well, no, or he would have been 35, the opposite of
35.
There you go.
Yeah.
yeah.
That makes sense.
Anyway, how about you, the listeners? Are you a fan of Herbie?
Oh, wait, before we go, I have
go?
2 things I want to point out real quick. Did anybody notice the Wally Bug cameo in the film?
The what now?
The Wally Bug cameo in the film.
Wally Bug.
Wally Bug, the Disney legend from the early days of Disneyland, Golden Horseshoe.
No. He was on the
He's in the film. He's the guy that shakes his fist and yells, "What are you, from LA?"
Oh, really?
Yeah. Got a nice little cameo in the film.
He was on the Muppet Show as one of the original guests, I think, in season 5.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
And I'm totally going to date myself here, but Joe Flynn played Havershaw, and every time the first time he spoke in the movie, I waited for him to go, "Mikhail,"
I don't know who that is.
McHale's Navy, see it before everyone's time.
I didn't have cable. I didn't get to watch that.
I'm just making myself sound older than the Flintstone. They say if you can't remember the 60s, you were there, and I can't remember them, so.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Do you know who played the hippie in the station wagon? Not the one in the dragster, but the one in the station wagon. Or the van, I guess it was.
The one who went, "We're all prisoners, man."
Yes. You know who played that?
No, I don't.
That was Dean Jones.
Really?
He was playing against himself in that scene.
Mm-hmm.
And when he read the script, he went to the director and he said, "I want to play the hippie." And the director said, "No, you're not playing the hippie. That's ridiculous. You're playing the lead. Like you're not doing that." So he went to hair and makeup. He got dressed up as a hippie, and he came and stood beside the director, sitting in his chair, and he just kind of stood there before a bit. And the director's kind of like, "Where's security? Like, why is this guy beside?" And then he started talking to him, saying like, "Whoa, man, this is far out. Just everything you got going on here." And he was ready to. He's like, "Okay, where's security?" Then all of a sudden, he clued in that was Dean, and he says, "Okay, you got the part."
Okay, I have one request, Jim. On our live show tomorrow, you have to speak like that the whole show.
I triple dog dare you, and as we all know,
So good.
from A Christmas Story, a triple dare is deal.
That's my my impersonation of the Electric Mayhem.
You need to get the wig and the little round glasses, and do tomorrow's whole live show like that.
Yes.
Quick story: when I bought my house, it was the day after Halloween. And it was the house went up for sale. It was an open house the day after Halloween, November 1st. I took my daughters trick-or-treating. I went to go to the house, and I was dressed up as kind of a hippie. I had long hair, and I was kind of looking into the house. "Hey man, you're selling your house tomorrow, eh?" And he was kind of like afraid I was going to try to walk in or something. So then the next day he said to me, he says, "Yeah, this guy came with long hair trying to buy it yesterday."
Did you tell him it was you?
Yeah, I said, "Oh, that was me."
Funny.
Anyways.
Stan,
Okay, Pastor.
Stan, that's what we're doing for the next Mickey's Not So Scary. We're going as those two hippies.
Yes.
Yeah. Dean Jones and the other one was a lady.
No, it was a dude.
No, it was a dude. You're right. Yeah, we gotta get the long beads.
We gotta walk around saying we're all prisoners, man. All night long. The striped pants. I'm in. That's our costume, dude.
I went to a Halloween party one time dressed as a hippie, and I had heart-shaped tinted blue glasses and a joint in my ear and headband and everything. And it wasn't a Halloween party. It wasn't a costume party. It was on Halloween night at a house, but not a costume party. My girlfriend and I were the only two dressed up.
This is like that scene in Legally Blonde. You showed up as Clean Money.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's exactly what I was thinking of, Jay.
Yeah, we both went to 60s Love Children, and we were the only ones dressed up. So, fun memories. All right, passengers, let us know. Did you like the Love Bug? Do you like the Herbie movies? What's your favorite one? And do you think that Disney should have a series or an attraction? Let us know in the comments. And take it away, Ken.
If you would like to keep the adventure going after the show, be sure to like our Facebook friends page, Grand Circle Tours Magical Ticket Holders. While you're on Facebook, like our group page, Grand Circle Tours. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Grand Circle Tours Podcast, as well as on Instagram, GCT Podcast, and our YouTube channel, Grand Circle Tour. If you would like to email us, drop us a line at gctpodcast@gmail.com. T-shirts and other fun merchandise can be found at tpublic.com. Simply search Grand Circle Tour Podcast. If you enjoyed your adventure, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Only one rule, make it good. All logos, sounds, songs, and music that are made by and for Disney and its affiliates are the full ownership of the Disney Corporation and are not, nor are they intended to be the ownership of the Grand Circle Tour Podcast. Thank you for riding with us, and welcome home.
Just in time for Herbie to take Jim and Carol off on their honeymoon. I saw them off, and as I waved goodbye, I must say I knew I was going to miss Herbie. They rolled down the street. I felt a kind of a nudge, and there beside me was sitting the prettiest little red love bug you've ever seen. Her motor was running smooth as a kitten, and of course there was no one driving her. I named her Sally.